Welcome to Feel Good Talk, where our focus is on mind, body, soul, and business. You are now tuning in to Let's Talk About It with your girl Izzy Meditates and your girl Kendra. Hey,
Hello,
Kendra.
everybody. Hi,
We
everybody.
have a special guest today. Our special guest is Sierra Destiny, and she is a director at the Newark Boys and Girls Club. How are you, Sierra? Good to see you.
Nice seeing you guys. Nice meeting you, Izzy. How are you?
Awesome, awesome. We are excited to be here. How's the week going for everybody?
It's been busy.
You
Yeah.
got a
Same,
lot
same here.
going on. Now that the weather is like warming up, I feel like everyone's activities are like, ramping up
Right.
too. So
Yeah.
wherever I go,
think
I feel like there's just more people.
Yeah. I'm spending more time outside, so none of the work in the house is getting finished. So when I come in, it's like a pile of clothes over here and like some dishes over here. So I've been messing up with that. But yesterday it was insane. It was so windy. I don't know what happened, and the temperature had dropped, but it was really cold. So we went out for a little bit, not a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like our temperature dropped here too.
Today or yesterday?
Yesterday. Yeah,
Oh,
yesterday.
wow.
Way too. It's a little
Yeah.
bit now.
Yeah. Today was perfect.
Yeah, I
So
got up. No, I was just gonna say I got up this morning as well and enjoyed outside. So
yeah. I saw your picture. I was like,
yeah,
look at her. And that natural sunlight that Karen and I were talking about, that glow is hitting you from the back.
yeah,
I said, ooh, look at her.
Hashtag no filter on that
No
one.
filter. Yes.
Real fun.
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. So, Sierra, we would like to ask you to tell us what you do. The community would love to know what you do for the Boys and Girls Club.
So I am the team director. I'm in charge of all team programming, just getting teams out into our programs about prevention, how to not use drugs, how to abstain from alcohol, sports, anything that the teens want to do. I just try to figure out something for them to do, whether it's employment as well. I try to get all my teens employed by the time they're 14. It just gets them excited for their own money. It gives them a sense of responsibility. It gives them a sense of saving. We run a program also called Money Matters, which is teaching the kids financial literacy. We do peer-to-peer mentorship. So I have the older kids actually facilitate programs to the younger ones. So it's someone that looks like them, that's closer to their age, and that they can relate to as well.
Yeah.
Wow, that is awesome. How did you get started in the boys with working with the Boys and Girls Club?
So Greater Newark, I actually attended Greater Newark as a teenager when I was in middle school. And people always say you never forget how you feel in a place. You always may forget a memory, but I remembered how I felt when I was there. It was my security blanket. My family is originally from North Jersey. So when we moved here, we didn't have any family here. And my mom was a 9-to-5 mom. So I had to go somewhere after school. I wasn't allowed to stay home by myself, which a lot of the kids that are in my program is the same situation. I met a lifelong friends there. My the team director that was there when I was younger is now my boss. Forward to 2015, I start volunteering with a program called AmeriCorps. It's based on volunteerism throughout the state. It's actually a national program. They have a traveling one, but I just did it locally. And they said, "Oh, you're going to be at the Boys and Girls Club." I said, "You have to put me at Greater Newark." And literally the rest is history. I went in as a substance abuse prevention specialist. So I taught substance abuse prevention, safe sex, abstinence, all that to teenagers. And then they eventually wanted to get their teen program up and running again. So they hired me on and I became full-time about 2 years ago.
Wow. That is amazing. I've done AmeriCorps. I did 2 years of AmeriCorps in North Philadelphia, and that's like a great start. Especially for you, it was laid out for you to go into that path of, the Boys and Girls Club, because it kind of preps you to volunteer and to help out, and it's like hands-on, like right away. There's no like no book per se.
Re-enlisted into AmeriCorps, and I'll be back working in the schools as a reading specialist in August, I believe. Nice. So I did do one more year because I loved it so much. Loved it.
So what made you want to go into the AmeriCorps?
I just seen an opportunity. I looked into it. I seen it was based off of volunteerism. I'm big on volunteering. I'm a jack of all trades, but I do a little bit of everything. I've worked from supermarkets to banks to mail rooms. I do a little bit of everything. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, but I've always loved to give back to my community. And going back to the Boys and Girls Club, when I attended there, we did a lot of volunteering in the community, in our community, Route 40, in our neighborhoods. So it was just felt natural. That was just awesome.
That is cool. Let me catch a couple of these comments early on. So we have some early comments. So Will says, good evening, ladies. Let's talk about it. Fire and some more emojis. What's up, Will? Thank you for tuning in. We appreciate you very much.
Oh, Charles is in the house.
Yep. Says, good evening, ladies. Good evening, Charles. Thanks for joining us.
We have Karen Dixon Brown. Hi, Karen.
What's up,
She
Karen?
says, good evening to all. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you for tuning in. So those are our comments for today. Yes. So tell us about like when you were going to the Boys and Girls Club as like a kid, right? What were some of the memories for you? Like what was it that made it special?
So again, I met like lifelong friends, like people that I'm still like very, very close with today. I think it was just the relationships that I built there. And they made me feel safe and made me feel like that was my space to be myself around my friends. It was pretty open. We learned about substance abuse prevention. We always had to do a program, but we made it fun. So it made it feel like you weren't even learning anything. It just made it seem like you're just having all this fun. The whole time you're absorbing information, absorbing knowledge. I call it shelf knowledge. I might not need it today, but I'm going to put it on the shelf on the back of my mind and save it for later. We fishing trips. We volunteered at Bank of America. And it made me sit back and look because I was, my grandfather took me fishing all the time. But for a kid that probably never had that experience, that was probably like a really special moment because who just learns how to fish at a Boys and Girls Club? That's unheard of. But it was a great feeling. Like it was so awesome. I shared that experience with my friends that may have not learned how to fish from a parent or a grandparent. So like one of the biggest things that stuck in my brain, like they're doing so much for kids that you don't even realize you're so fortunate until you meet other kids that you don't have.
Right. It's an awesome support system. I've not gone to the Boys and Girls Club as a child, but I did the Salvation Army, which is kind of like similar to that. And I'm 46 and I remember some of the things that we did. Like, and I try to teach them to my daughter, even when we took those little plastic ropes and kind of weaved them and made keychains. That was like my thing. And like putting the beads on and the popsicle sticks. And I mean, just like the smallest things that are of great support to children that would have just been home or at a relative's house, not really doing much of anything. So it's a great support system. My question to you is, how does one go about signing up for the Boys and Girls Club? Is there any type of requirements or anything like that?
So our teen program is actually completely free. The membership will be completely free for any teen that's middle school and above. They're able to, before the pandemic, they were able to participate in teen nights where we had open gym on Friday nights from about 8 o'clock until midnight every Friday. We did the teen barbecues post-pandemic and about probably like April-ish. We did barbecues when the weather broke. It was really nice. We had a nice turnout all outside. We cooked on the grill. It was all completely free. Anybody could come. We played Uno, Phase 10. I'm big on board games and card games. So yeah, it's completely free for all our teens to come. We do have a teen camp coming up that'll start in June. That is $50 a week. And the kids volunteer. They do various programs. We'll have a volleyball program. I take them out in the community. I get them on college tours as well. We do a cooking class. We just have fun. I just try to teach them to be the best person that they can be and ready to get out there in the world because they don't have some support sometimes, or they just don't know, or their parents might not even know. So it takes courage.
Wow.
Yes, it does. When you introduce, oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, soon I heard that they're lifting a lot of bans. So you may be able to come together, you know, in a much better position than before. And I think it's coming up soon. I think Pennsylvania, Delaware is like in a month or so. So
I think Delaware actually on the 19th.
Oh, wow. That'll be awesome. Yeah.
So Sierra, when let's say a teen comes and they show up to the Boys and Girls Club and they don't know anybody there, right? Because even as an adult, when I go into a room and I don't know anybody, like I'm like nervous, you know, how do you make conversation? What do you guys do to like, you know, help them to get into, you know, in with other kids?
So we're like a big tight-knit family at Newark. It's so funny because all of my kids are so welcoming. We just actually had a new kid start about a couple months ago. He's new to Delaware, period. He started school during the pandemic, so he wasn't able to make any friends. He came in day one. They were all friends, exchanging numbers on TikTok with each other. It was like they've known each other for years. So my kids are really welcoming. They love meeting new people. And then I just try to build rapport. I don't have like just conversate, just talk, figure out what they like, what they don't like, what they want to do. And then from there, I kind of remember what kids like, or if I have a program coming up, oh, I know this person, that person will be interested. Or if I opportunity to make money, I know this person and that person may be interested in that.
Right. Yeah. That says a lot for you and how you, you know, your passion for kids. The fact that you will remember and take like personal interest in saying, yeah, you know, this person, this is where their strengths are, or this is where an opportunity is for them to grow. I mean, that's huge, because I think a lot of times people may be afraid to like take their kids places because they're like, okay, that's just like, you know, I'm dropping them off and who knows what's going on. And you know what I mean? And so to know that there are people there that are actually looking out for your kids, number one, but they're not babysitting. Like their role, like they are taking it upon themselves to help grow them in all types of areas. That is huge. So I definitely commend you and all of the people who work at the Boys and Girls Clubs everywhere, you know, who have that kind of mentality.
Yeah. My question is, so I work with a lot of youth, but they are usually pre-K up until, well, it's 12th grade, but I've been teaching mostly like pre-K up until about 6 years old. And they're so cute and they want to do everything that you want to do, and everything goes peachy keen for the most part, unless they have sharing issues. How is it for you working with the teens? Do you run into any complications sometimes where they're difficult to work with, or maybe a little super shy and you have to put a little more effort into one child versus the other? How is that working out for you?
So I'm a consistent person. I'm the same, like my personality stays the same no matter if you're like a new kid or a kid that I've known you since you were in kindergarten, because some of the kids there, like I know their parents, me and their parents went to the Boys and Girls Club together as well. I just try to, I don't know, just try to get to know them and get to understand them. And I don't know how to explain that one.
Well, my 17-year-old, I'm going to send him your way, because
from Virginia.
That's why this question,
to get to know them and understand where they're coming from. I worked in psych hospitals too. A former employee at Rockford Hospital. So I sit down and I talk to them. I don't minimize their problems. It may be small to me, but it's something huge to them. So I just try to validate their feelings, validate how they feel, because these kids go through a lot. Some stuff that we don't understand. So if I have a shy kid, I might talk to them, hey, how are you? You want to play a game of Uno real quick? Or are you sitting over there by yourself? What do you want to draw? Do you want to color? Like I have adult coloring books. I have DIY painting stuff. We do painting with a twist. Like, what are you into? Or I hear them talking about stuff, or I let them I have one kid that brings his keyboard with him every day. He comes in and he self-teaches himself how to play a keyboard. And we have a portable music studio that'll be coming to Greater Newark soon for our teens. So in my mind, I know he's going to be one of the first ones that I reach out to and say, hey, we got this cool opportunity where you can make your own beats and record your own music. Would you be interested? And that's how I keep them.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can see you are super awesome at that. Yeah, I have a 17-year-old, and this is really tough. He's in that weird phase. You know what I mean? And, as a mom, it's difficult. But I think as a mentor, I think you have it like really wrapped. Just to listen to you talk, I can tell that you're awesome at what you do. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I do want to go in and unpack what you were talking about in terms of like the things that they're going through. Right. And some of the things, kind of help us understand as, adults who don't know how to like reach them or understand them the way that you do. But before we do, let's get into some comments and see what the folks are saying.
Karen Dixon Brown says, Girls and Boys Club has always been awesome. I enjoyed it as a child and wish it was everywhere. I love the foundation and the history of it all. Yes, that's awesome. I feel like there's so much love there, and people who work there have a passion for what they do. And they're almost like family. Like, I mean, at the Salvation Army, I felt like they were family to me. Yeah. Right. Naeem Love says, hey, everyone. Hi, Naeem. How are you? We have, is it Likia Milborn says, hello, everyone. Hello, how are you?
Good evening.
And then Karen Dixon Brown says, how about helping children who move a lot or have home issues at times? I know you have to be more than there for them. So I think that's her question. Says, how about helping children who move a lot or have home issues at times? I know you have to be have to be more than there for them.
Got
I think I did that right. And then we have Jean Kelly says, good evening, beautiful ladies. Good evening, Jean. How are you,
Mom? I always give my mom a shout out. What's up, Mom? But so let's talk a little bit about that in terms of like the kids and how they like tell us like what's going on. What are some of the big things that you see that we may not be aware of when it comes to teens?
Yeah.
It's just more so these teens live in their phones. They definitely live in their phones. I'm not that far in age difference from them, but it's completely different. When I was growing up, we had MySpace that you needed a computer to log in on. Now they have everything in their hands, literally. So they're caught up in social media. And I noticed during the pandemic too, like a lot of kids are so caught up in social media and they feel like they need to be this person that social media portrays. So I just try to teach them that you are the best version of you. It's okay to be different. It's okay to be creative. Social media, those people on social media, that's not them. 9 times out of 10, that's not them. That's not how a normal person looks every day.
Right.
What a normal person looks like every day. Sometimes my hair is done. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I wake up and put on makeup. It just depends on how I feel. And anything that I do, I'm going to do it for me and not for social media. So I try to like get that in their heads and get them to understand that social media is not everything. Sometimes it's okay to take a break from social media if you're feeling overwhelmed. And I feel like a lot of kids, they feel overwhelmed to be what social media portrays them or wants them to be.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Adults too. I mean, we all get caught up in that. And like you said, doing that comparison. Izzy and I talk about that all the time, people comparing to Instagram is usually like the best parts of your day, right? So the best parts of your life. So that's interesting. And then there is, social media, all of their algorithms and stuff that they use to kind of keep you, connected. So again, as an adult, and I'm guilty of this, as well as being on there way too long.
Yeah, we all are. We all are. Sometimes I have to catch myself. I'm like, oh my God, I've been on Instagram 7 times today. Like, what am I checking for at this point? Or I've been on Facebook 3 times back to back within an hour. Like, what am I looking for at this point?
It becomes habitual. And my biggest concern with it is just that they're in this developmental stage. And this is interfering with the development, and we don't really realize it. And I think the pandemic has made it worse because we're all in our heads with a lot of stuff. and the kids, you know, are shifted off to their tablet sometimes, and they're seeing things like, I mean, even my daughter, she sees things where families are doing this. And she's like, well, how come they're at the beach and we're not at the beach? I'm like, because I love you and I don't want you to get COVID, and that's my choice. You know what I mean? But she's seeing them go to Disney and do all these things. And at the beginning, she was really sad about that. She was upset, like in tears, because she had wanted to do that. And then it's difficult because at times, both of them are on social media. So they see a lot of things that I really don't want them to see, as far as like the news, things that were kept from us a lot. Do you guys have any programs that kind of touch on that, or just as mentors you touch on that with the children and say, hey, you know what, you should limit your social media, these are the effects of it, kind of?
Just as a mentor, like if I see my kids on their phones too much, all right, y'all, let's do Uno, let's break out in a game of Uno. And all my kids are super competitive, so they're always down for a game of Uno. I don't like losing, so they're going to try to beat me. So that's how I just reel them back in. During our camp program, they're allowed to bring their phones. But I do 2 hours of electronic free time. So no TVs, no cell phones, no computers. We're being kids. We're in the building playing board games. Yeah, throwing a football back and forth. We're outside, just electronic free, just getting away from it. Over spring break, we actually do a learning pod. So the kids are coming to the teen center to do their virtual learning. Pick them up. It runs from 8 to 4 in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. I pick them up, drop them off at home. We go to Glasgow Park. We walk around. At first, they hated it. But now they ask me, Missy, can we go to Glasgow Park today? Sure, let's go. We want to take a little stroll, get some fresh air, walk around, do something else besides that.
I know.
Yeah. Everybody should. I'm a big believer too. Everybody should have a board game or, you know, cards in their house.
I keep them in my car now.
Yeah.
Cards and face 10 cards in my car because never know when it's time to break out a good game of Uno.
Yeah.
And you're right, Uno can get competitive. Oh Lord, you play Uno, honey, it is on and popping.
Yes.
We have some more comments.
Oh, there's
more. Yep.
Karen Dixon Brown says, "Lol, more to them than why you're there."
She was responding to. Remember, you're reading the rest of her sentence.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yes, we got that.
Brianna Nichols says, "Hi, Queens. Hi, Brianna. How are you?
What's going on?"
And Lakia Milborn says, "You're right. Social media has a big influence on people. It does.
Yeah, it does." And Sierra, I'll text you the name of this one. I forget the name of it. It's the social media experiment, or there's I think I talked about it before on our show, but it is a great program to have the kids watch. It's on Netflix.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I had David watch it with me, and they go through the algorithms and how, but it's interesting because it starts off with this family, and they're like a normal family, and the kids are on the phone, and, you know, the parent is trying to get them off the phone, but it really is set up like a normal scenario. And then it walks through, it talks about like the algorithms and how it keeps you on. And then it kind of follows the boy in the family and how he goes from really getting caught up in some of the social media. They made up like a political scenario, you know what I mean? And next minute he's at like this march, and next minute his personality changes. So it's really, really, really good for adults and kids, because once you realize how intentional, you know, social media is, and, you know, I'm not a social media hater at all, but for me, it's always good to go into something understanding what's behind it. You know, so it's a really great
for program. A while, I would allow Cass, when she was younger, like around 4 or 5, to watch YouTube, but I didn't realize that the commercials were not for kids.
No.
So like the political commercials would come on, and one day I'm sitting in the car and she literally repeated a whole Abigail Spanberger, and she told us why I shouldn't vote for her and why I should vote for this person. And I was just sitting there like, what? Where did you get that from? But they're like seeing all these things, and she believed the commercial. Like she believed it at that age that we should not vote for her for that reason, because she kept hearing it over and over and over again. And I was just like, no, Cass. People say different things in these, commercials because they're trying to convince you. It doesn't mean that they're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it was hard. Karen Dixon Brown says, "Lo, more to them than what you are actually there for." Is that the same one from? Yeah. And then Karen also says, "I love this tonight and will catch replay since I have to run. Love you." Yeah, Karen has a show to podcast tonight too. So thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, we appreciate you. So we're talking about the social media stuff. So we also had all the election stuff, right? That's happening. And I have been on like just kind of around the house, and I hear like David and his friends while they're gaming having really great, actually, I'm impressed with the conversations that they've had around like politics. So so I'm wondering, from like the teens when everything was going on, was it still able to kind of maintain that kind of family thing, or did you have to manage, that?
So the beginning part of the pandemic, I actually we have a group called Keystone. It's a leadership group. So I have about 7 kids, teenagers, probably from 10th grade to 12th grade. I even have a couple of my older kids that are in college now. They still come out and support all of our events. They're still in our group chat. But we have a group chat. So I check on them constantly. Hey guys, we got this event coming up, this, that. And then we actually last year around this time, because class of 2020, and I had a lot of kids that were class of 2020, they weren't able to have a graduation or a prom. So we came up with this idea of a teen podcast. So it's called Keystone. I'm sorry, not a podcast. It's a vlog. Don't kill me if I get it wrong. Vlog. It's called Keystone Talks. They interview other teens around the state of Delaware. Our Youth of the Year candidates interviewed each other last year. It was a cool way for everybody just to come together. We talked about the pandemic and how people were handling it, because we were about maybe 3 or 4 months into it at that point. So the kids just abruptly stopped going to school. The kids finding out that they no longer have prom and graduation were on the limb. So they didn't find out that they were graduating or having a physical graduation until a couple weeks prior. Same thing with prom. They were just like, oh, it kept getting pushed back. And then eventually they just didn't have it. So we did a virtual graduation on our vlog as well, where our Youth of the Year candidate from Greater Newark, Sharice, she added in people on our live and we turned their tassels. So it was pretty cool. We just kept in touch with them, made those kids at least feel like they had some sort of graduation and some sort of like family-oriented graduation. We even did lawn signs outside the Boys and Girls Club for all our graduating seniors that were a part of our club at the time as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love it because, we always hear about there's nothing for teens to do. And I often say that, myself, and I don't even for me, I don't even think about it. And I think probably because I don't ride by the Boys and Girls Club, especially since I'm working from home. But it's so good to know that there is, you guys, it's not what I'm hearing from you, that it's not a like quote unquote 9 to 5 type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you're in their lives. And that's what makes it really, really special. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So tell us, what do us adults need to understand about teens? So that's the one thing I wanted to.
I know. Pull out my pad. I got my pen.
Get your pen out. I'm gonna grab a drink, water.
You're more experienced with this than me.
Yeah. So, what are some of the things? Let's start with some of the things that a lot of adults misunderstand when it comes to teens.
I would just say just to listen, encourage, and support. That's all. Those are the 3 main things. And listen, encourage, and support. Because from what I'm hearing from our teens is that they don't feel all 3 of those. Somewhere is they're not being heard. Again, like you have to validate their feelings with something small to us may be huge to them. So socialization, like some kids, you try to push, like, come on, just go ahead, go outside, go talk. But a lot of kids, they're suffering from anxiety. Like speaking to someone is physically gives them anxiety. Like they don't like it. There 1,000 things are running through their heads. So just recognizing the signs, like, do you see like your kids tend to be a little bit more anxious when it's time to get around people?
Right.
Trying to look for just listening to them, listening to what they're talking about. Kids come to my office all day. Like I literally cannot. They're in my office all day. They stop by, Miss Sierra, this happened and this happened and this happened. I'm like, okay, well, wow, well, what's going on? You want to talk about it? Yes, you are talking about it. Okay, cool. I have an open door policy. All my kids. Sometimes I've had like 5 kids in my office just sitting there just talking. We've had group conversations. It's completely judgment free.
Right.
Whatever they're going through, I tell them all the time, I probably did something probably 10 times worse, but I had nobody to really feel like I had to talk to. Like when I got in high school, you don't want to talk to your mom about certain stuff. Like you feel like your mom is going to not judge you, but she's your mom.
She's going to flip out.
She's going to flip out. So just listening and really understanding where they're coming from. Getting all their problems out, making them feel safe enough to speak to you openly about anything.
Yes.
Judgment free. I even tell my kids about, if you don't feel comfortable talking to your parent about something, sit them down and say, hey, I have a lot of things I want to talk to you about. Maybe I don't feel comfortable verbally communicating that, but maybe we can sit down and pass notes. And our agreement is we pass notes, but we never have to talk about it verbally.
That is great.
In the door for communication. Because a lot of stuff I feel like between parents and kids, it's just misunderstandings. Or sometimes you both are trying to say the same thing, but verbally it's not working.
Right.
Encouraging them. I encourage them in everything they do. Parents have to encourage them in everything they're doing. A lot of parents want their kids to be college ready. We push for college. But the reality is not every kid wants to go to college, and not every kid feels they don't need to go to college. There's so many other options, and I try to keep them open for that too. In 7th and 8th grade, we're talking about, what do you want to do in your life? You may not know what you want to do career-wise, but what do you like to do? Mm-hmm. And then you mold from there. Like if you like doing hair, well, why don't you just apply for Delcast or any of the Voltecs? Now you leave in high school with a trade, a job, and your high school diploma. And you can build a career off that. So just encouraging them in any and everything that they're doing.
Yeah, I love that. I love the listen. So if we take each of those, you said 3 things, but let's start with the listen. What I love about the listen, and I think we do this anyway when it comes to communication, where we ask a question or we say we're listening, but then we're already 10 steps ahead of what the person is saying, right? And we're already filling in the blank, and we're already thinking about our response, especially as parents, but yeah, I love what you said in terms of like just making it open, judgment free, try not to have a reaction.
Yes.
Izzy, how do you manage through that?
I was going to say, this is wonderful across the board, and it brings tears to my eyes, because where we may not be able to communicate with our children, you are. And so you're creating that safe space for them, that they are feeling comfortable enough to come to you with anything, something that they wouldn't come to their parents with, they come to you. And that is life-saving across the board, because it could be about something that they're in danger with, or something that's harmful. And so they have to have that space. I feel like when they don't have that space, suicide is at a higher rate. Depression, anxiety, drugs, all of those come into play. And so they need that. So I think that is super awesome. When it comes to communication, I took a communications class and I thought I knew what I was doing, right? So from my Building Bridges Women's Group, we're reading this book here, and it's called Nonviolent Communication, A Language of Life. I am parenting the wrong way. This book had me in tears, the first paragraph, and it's basically teaching you to listen without judgment. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't say that I didn't listen without judgment, because I know what I want for my son. I'm trying to protect him. I'm trying to teach him. I'm trying to mold him. I want him to be his own person. However, I see where he's going and I'm trying to guide him. And sometimes we use some ways that we don't mean to, that are kind of in a manipulative type sense to get him to go this way, when we should honor, and that's a hard word for people, our children, just as they honor us. And I learned that in a parenting class. And when you say that to some people, they're like, oh no, they're children. We're not honoring them. They honor us. But it shouldn't be like that at all. And so the communication is key. And that's what you have. Just listening to you talk and how you talk. I think as parents, we have to develop that. And we can't just develop that on our own. We have to either take parenting classes, you know what I mean? Maybe be in a group in a church, or read a book about it. Just like we read a book to learn our career that we're in. We have to learn these things about teaching. And now I can't say I read this entire book and I'm going to do everything in the book. I just pick and choose some things that I think are going to work for me and my family. But communication is definitely the key. I've seen in my own family where things have just fallen completely apart because we didn't use the correct words. Just addressing stuff like saying, you didn't do this, or that's not a smart thing to do. That's a judgment. We do it all the time, you know?
Right. Yeah.
You know, and so trying to just reword it could help out a lot too. So I think that that's super awesome, the way that you guys are doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like and a village. Takes a village.
Yeah. No, it's
true. And Izzy, you bring up a good point, because the thing is, like, we don't think about it, but everybody, like, we study for our jobs, we study for this, hobbies and everything. But when it comes to like communication and how we interact with our families and how we interact with our teens, we just like this kind of like wild west, you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I love that. Maybe you can drop the name of that book in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a workbook kind of thing too. It's really awesome. I remember working with this young lady. We were co-teachers at a Montessori school. And you know me, I'm always talk. But I observed her, and she was like always super quiet. And she would ask one question and she'd listen fully to what the child has said. Completely. Space, giving them time, because you know sometimes children, it take them a long time to get their words out, and you're like, okay, come on, spit it out. Or you're trying to fill in the words that they're saying because you want them to hurry up so you can figure out. But she would take that time, and they were so engaged with her face to face. They always would go to her and they talked to her because they felt like that space was open for them, even at a small age. Yeah, so communication is like key.
Yeah.
Everything. Yeah.
Listen to learn, right?
Yeah.
The key. So then, Sierra, you talked about encouragement. So, and not really trying to make them do certain things, or even, I guess, being more aware of, how they respond in certain situations. So that way you're not pushing it. So I guess my question is, how do you balance when you're dealing and talking and guiding your teens? How do you balance that with trying to get them out of their comfort zone? You know what I mean?
So like I said, I really build a rapport with my kids. So I see the things that they're like, or I just watch them sometimes to see what they do, like their day to day. So I kind of just see their niche in a sense. And I play on that. Like, hey, I see you really are good with arts and crafts. We just got a new heat press for t-shirts. You want to help me create some t-shirts, or help me, do a vinyl t-shirt?
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Or I have a program where if I know a kid wants to be a teacher, I have a peer mentorship program where you guys can facilitate a program and make about $200. You want to do something like that? Do you feel comfortable, talking in front of kids? Because to me, I feel like it's easier to talk in front of kids, little kids. They're little kids. It's fun. They don't make mistakes. So I just try to play on that and just try to like downplay it. And I also just keep them involved with the younger kids as well, as much as possible. Because when the little kids see older kids, now it's giving the older kids a responsibility. Like, I really can't do this, that, and the third because the little one is watching. Or they run up to them like, hey, Mr. and Miss such and such. They're building that rapport. And 9 times out of 10, all of our staff at Greater Newark, we all went to the Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
At
Greater Newark. So we know our kids. we understand how this works. We understand building a rapport with our kids. We all work really well together, from aquatics down to childcare, team programming in the middle. So my childcare people, I work really closely with them, especially when my kids are coming up on that 10 to 12 age bracket, where I know they're about to transition out of childcare into team programming. All right, so what do y'all see that this kid likes? Or I might spend time in that room trying to see what that kid likes to do, how they interact with certain kids, what they talk about. I might have a kid maybe autistic, super smart, likes building things. Cool. I know now I might have an engineering or architect, some sort of program. I know he'll love it.
Yeah.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
So just encouraging them to, it's okay. You can do 20 things. I'm a jack of all trades. I do. I've always maintained between 2 to 3 jobs since I was 18. I've worked in customer service. I work at Amazon now too. I worked at Amazon work from home. So I encourage them, like, you can do whatever you want to do. You have to make it work for you. It's okay to have 20 different careers. If that's what you want to do and you're happy doing it, have 20 different careers. Try everything that you can, from sports to academics to hobbies.
Right. You are like my twin. I grew up where my parents were just like, you have to do this one thing and stick with it till death. You know what I mean? Work for the government until you retire. And then, but I was not that child. I would do this. I did hair. I was over here. I was over here. And as I got my adulthood, I realized that it's okay to have 5,000 pots on the stove. If that's what you like to do, you know what I mean? It's okay. Everybody is built differently, and things are just completely different for everyone. So that's good that you're teaching them that. And then if you don't try other things, how are you going to know? If you stick with this one thing all your life, just because your parents said to do that, and then you didn't try that one thing, and then later on in life you're doing it as a hobby, you're like, darn, I should have done that. I would have been awesome at that in a career. You know what I mean? So absolutely.
One of our 2019 Youth of the Year, her name's Ardavia Lee. She ran for Youth of the Year. She won states and then went off to regionals. She is a sophomore, a rising sophomore or a rising junior. I think she's a rising junior at DSU right now. She's literally in every single club you can think of, on top of playing sports. In high school, she went to St. Elizabeth's, triathlete, honor roll, had maintained a 4.0 since she was like a freshman in high school. Jack of all trades. But I teach her, like, whatever you can do now, do it.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
You got time. You have nothing but time.
Right. Now is the time.
Your teens are nothing. You don't need sleep. But sleep. Have fun.
I know.
Try everything. Try everything.
I need to bring my son in this interview. He's like, Mom, nobody's going to be like you. No one's going to do that. They're not going to be in all those things.
It is true. Well, the other thing I love too is that when you're trying a lot of things, you may also fail at some things. And I think for our society, we so promote winning and being number one and stuff, but we never talk about the failures on the way there. And so then when people do have failures, then they freak out and then they feel like they're not good enough. Then all of a sudden it turns into a personal thing. So I like the fact that, be involved, try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. And then you'll eventually hit that thing that you're passionate about. And when it doesn't work, you won't quit. You'll be like, okay, I got to go harder. I got to do this. Because I'm really passionate about it. But understanding and learning the art of how to fail, we say like fail forward, how to fail forward is really, really important. So I love that. So you had said something else. You said communication, encouragement. I don't know if you remember the third thing that you said. It was so good.
And encourage.
Say that again.
Support, listen, and encourage.
Support, listen, and encourage. Okay, so what are some of the things that, I think we understand now as adults, that's the stuff that we need to do. What else can you think of in terms of the things that we need to know, have more understanding and grace when it comes to teenagers? You're like our teen representative. It's like they voted you teen president. And I'm like,
just being patient too. I think being patient is so key. I even had to during the pandemic, our team programming was shut down because we were trying to figure out a safe way for these kids to come back in the building. We had limited number even in our child care program.
That was David.
I'm like, where's that hand coming from?
I know. It's like it from the Addams Family.
Is that the cat?
Lord. Go ahead.
Yeah, we had limited team programming that we can do. We're still trying to like figure that out. So I ended up helping with childcare. I also always said that I never wanted to work with the little ones, like kindergarten through first grade. I worked at Stubbs. I interned at Stubbs with Children and Families First in Wilmington, Delaware. And it was just a lot. The little ones are so emotional. They get so attached. So I was like, I never want to work with little kids ever again. And what happens? I ended up getting put into the K through first classroom.
Yeah.
That taught me a lot of patience because I had to get used to kids that were not independent anymore.
Right.
The kids that come to me, I teach them independence. So it's like, all right, you need to advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself, but I can't tell a kindergartner to advocate for themselves.
Right.
In the same way that I do a team. So I had to sit back, take a deep breath, and like be patient. Like, all right, guys. And like you said, listening to those stories with those little kids, like they want to tell you a story for 20 minutes. So sometimes you just gotta sit there and like, okay, oh wow. And just when you think the story is over, and they bring you right back on in, or another kid that joins in. So it taught me a lot of patience, and it regrouped me, I really needed that a little bit because personally handling the pandemic, going into a new work environment in the pandemic, and then trying to jump back into team programming where everything is different. Like this is an adjustment for us. It's an adjustment for the parents, and it's an adjustment for the teams. Even the little kids, we have little kids on Zoom too. So it's just an adjustment 360. So I just had to sit back and be more patient. And I feel like being patient is hard, but it's needed. It's needed.
Yeah.
We have to be patient with kids of all ages, really, even adults, because you got kids, adults that mentally they went through so much trauma as a kid. They're still stuck in that place. So just being kind and just working it out, just being patient and like I said, listening is a lot. Listening holds a big bulk of where you're going to get your rapport and where people are going to understand your respect. Just listening and not judging.
Yeah.
I love that
praise because I think what people fail to realize, and I remember being upset with this in the beginning of the pandemic is, people were like, teachers should do this and teachers can't do that. But they didn't realize that teachers have families too. Some teachers and some mentors are not only having their Zoom class, but they have their kid off to the side in a Zoom class. You know what I mean? Like it's a lot going on, and to have that patience and to try to work through all of that, it's a lot.
It's a
and
lot.
especially having the little kids. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And I love, what's funny about what you're saying? It's like, it's so basic, right? Like patience, communication, like just having empathy and all of this stuff. It's like, it's not really like these new techniques, right? But it's for some reason, I think, Izzy, it goes back to what you're saying, what you said earlier about us honoring our kids, right? So us honoring teens and having respect for them and, apologizing to them when we're in the wrong with the way that we communicated to them or, the way that we've come off or how we might have disrespected them in XYZ situation is huge. And it's like, we forget sometimes that even though they are our teen, or maybe we've kind of taken them under, our wings, that it's about relationship building, right? Like just because you have them or just because they're in proximity to you does not mean that you have that relationship with them. Right. So it's all about that, and we can't take that for granted, that it's relationship building. We have a couple of comments here. It's you.
Eloise Adams Walker says, love this. Hi, Eloise. Thank you.
Hi.
Thanks for tuning in. And then we have, and I think I'm pronouncing her name wrong every single time. Lakia Milbourne says, it is hard dealing with kids who come from different backgrounds. it can be challenging at times, especially if you have them all in one room under one roof and they're in the younger age group. Because there's a ratio. What is it? 1 to 10?
Yes.
Is it 1 to 10 or 1 to 20? So if you have 2 teachers there and 10 kids, you don't realize that unless you are a person who has 10 children of your own, that they all want something all at once. You sit them down for lunch and they're like, Miss Izzy, can you open my cheese? Miss Izzy, can you open my crackers? I'm like,
They all want something different.
Right then, right. And they want it right then and there. There's no waiting. And then there's kind of like meltdown. So I have a question. So how many children are in your program, in the entire program?
In the entire teen program, we used to pull at least 150 teens a day. Our teen nights alone on the Friday nights would bring in about 100 kids. We've had 100 kids in our gym playing open gym. They have full access to the whole building. So they're able to do family night swim as well, where they have open pool. They're able to swim in our pool, game room, all that. Now we're pulling about 80 between aquatics and athletics in our team program. We're climbing back up there surely, but hopefully this is the pandemic. We're just trying to figure out a way that we all can be together safely as possible.
Yeah. And that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah.
It's about 80 kids just rotating at different times too.
Right.
So I have about 8 kids in my learning pod. So my 8 kids come just about every day. They pick the days that they want to come. Some days they want to come, some days they don't. Sometimes they just need a break from their parents, which we all need a break sometimes. So it's just nice for them to just come and take a break. I call our teen center their little apartment.
I want to come hang out. That's my safe spot. I need a safe spot. Nobody ever asked me.
It's your closet, Izzy. It's your closet.
It's my closet. I call it my closet meditation office.
Sarah, you guys just had a huge event. I think it was, a couple of weeks ago? So tell us about what that event was about.
So we had 2 major events that just happened in the past 2 weeks. The first one was our Youth of the Year event. I spoke about it a little bit, but it's a leadership and a scholarship opportunity for our teens that had been in a program, basically just speaking about what the club has done for them, their club experience, the programs that they participated, basically how the club has saved their lives or impacted them in some shape or form. The kids are able to go down to the beach for the weekend. So we went about 2 to 3 weeks ago. I want to say 3 weeks ago. We went down to Rehoboth. They spend the night down at the beach. They take pictures. They get dressed up. They give their speech. They have to give a 3-minute speech based on their essays. They write 3 essays. They're judged in front of a panel of 6 judges, I believe, 6 or 7 judges. And then they put on a huge gala. From there, the judges decide who wins. Put on a huge gala where they get on stage, they receive awards. The winners are awarded scholarships. And then again, when they win states, they move on to regionals where they compete from Maryland up to Vermont. So you have kids through each state. We typically go to New York. I've been there twice. For regionals, they go to New York and compete against each other. There's also a military aspect of it. We have military Youth of the Year too. There's a lot of Boys and Girls Clubs on bases throughout the country, even down to Puerto Rico. So Puerto Rico has their own Boys and Girls Club, and Puerto Rico has their own naval base. So the kids compete all the way to Puerto Rico as well. It's really, really fun. We make a big deal out of it in Greater Newark. We tell the kids all the time, like, we picked you guys to represent our club. We have so much faith in you guys, win, lose, or draw. The person that represented our club, she did not win, but I reiterated to her before we even went into our gala. I was like, win, lose, or draw, we hand selected you to represent our club because we have faith in you, we believe in you, and everything that you want to do for the club, you still do it. Win, lose, or draw, you do it. If you want a peer mentorship program, you implement that peer mentorship program. Don't let losing or winning deter you from doing that if that's what your passion is. So that was huge. so much fun too.
Sarah, before you go on to the next one, what's the qualifications? How is someone picked to be in that program and represent it and compete?
So I typically look for, it's myself and our unit director, we look for kids that have been participating in programs that maybe even work for the club. So the kids that I've had for the past 4 years, they've all been at the Boys and Girls Club since they were 6 years old. So they participated in almost every program possible. They're in our team program. They're in our Keystone Leadership Group where they volunteer and go out in the community to do trash pickups. We did a Martin Luther King Day of Service March. We do Martin Luther King Day of Service every single year. This year we handed out goodie bags to passerbyers by our Boys and Girls Club. We went and dropped off snack bags to the police station, to construction workers that were outside. We set up tents and we feed people out of our van sometimes, the homeless people in Wilmington. So they're out, and kids that I see just going above and beyond.
Right.
Doing things without being asked. Like some kids, I don't even have to ask them, like, Miss Sierra, can we do this, that, and the third? Let's do it.
Right.
My answer is never no to them when they want to do something in the community or do something good, because I love the fact that they're taking initiative, because this is the next generation of kids that are going to be pushing out in the community. So we want to keep this flow of doing good in our community, building our community up, building our kids up in-house and keeping it there. Make sure it's safe there and keeps revolving.
I love it.
So what was
and
the second program?
The second thing that we did was our drive-through college fair. That's the technical name of it. So we did a drive-through college fair / prom dress giveaway. So last year I got about 300 prom dresses donated from Macy's at 50 in the mall. I split them up because this drive-through college fair is being done in every single county in Delaware. So Newcastle County, Kent County, and Sussex. The next one is actually Saturday from 11 to 2 at our Milford Boys and Girls Club. So they, we had about 13 to 15 colleges come out. We set up our parking lot in a big circle. Cars came in, they just drove through, got information from all the college vendors. We had Chick-fil-A out there handing out free meal vouchers and employment opportunities. Air National Guard, Spelman, Morehouse, UD, Cabrini. We had schools from everywhere, Syracuse, schools from everywhere. We gave away about 50 prom dresses. They were completely free. The event was completely free. It was so awesome. We had a nice little turnout. They were giving away gift cards. Yeah, it was really, really, really nice. And I have people still calling me about prom dresses now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Y'all do not sleep on the Boys and Girls Club.
I know, right? I'm like,
that's the lesson for tonight. Don't sleep on the Boys and Girls Club. Get your
people never realize
there. Even if you don't know the team, just snatch them and drop them off there. They'll be fine.
Right. That's a lot. It's a lot to implement all of that. You know what I mean? Like I mean, I've done things where I've implemented programs. That's a lot to get it all together, to get everybody to participate, to give out the ads, to encourage involvement. You know what I mean? That's a lot.
Yeah, that is huge. So to this point, we have Lakaya Milburns asked, how many programs do y'all have?
So team programs, it varies. Like I could be running between 2 to 5 programs at a time, just strictly for our teams. We have aquatics and we have athletics. We're not doing fall league or summer league this year for basketball, because we still can't figure out how to keep everybody socially distanced. And normally we have a packed house for our basketball. Athletics are huge at our club. So we just have AAU travel teams right now. For athletics, we have our aquatics team. They actually just won states, if I'm not mistaken, a couple months ago. We have our childcare program, summer fun club. We used to have a tutoring program as well. We have a lot of programs. A lot of programs.
Wow.
Actually, is there a way that I can type in our website?
Yep. You can type it into the comments section.
I love it. You just have a passion for what you do. It just shows like all over you. You make me want to join the Boys and Girls Club. I'm gonna put down that I'm 16.
I know. I'm already thinking when we move to Orlando, I'll seek one out for David, because that's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I never knew like all of this happens, and I'm so impressed from like the fun things, but then like the leadership things and all of that. So yeah, if they're in that club, I see no reason why they can't come out like fully like, okay, successful, let's go. Right. You know what I mean? So I am blown away. So Izzy asked, she made a point, and then this brings me to this question. How do you guys get like donations? Talk to us about how the community can jump in and help you guys with all of these programs, whether it's donation, monetary things, volunteering of time, etc.
So we're always looking for volunteers. We're always looking for donations of any sort. The best thing to do is just either email me, call me, or just call up to our club and say, hey, what are some events that you guys got going on, or what programs do you have rolling out soon? Just get in contact, just call us. We always have something going on, or drop by the club. We're not doing any parents inside the building, but if you come on, just ring the bell. Somebody will come out, talk to you, tell you what's going on, what programs we got going at the moment, what may be coming up in the future. Like I said, the music producing, that's something that's in the works now. Our Brown Boys and Girls Club in Wilmington, they actually have a full studio in their basement.
Wow.
They invested almost like $500,000 into this studio. It's so awesome. It's so nice. It's nice equipment. They can do podcasts, vlogs. So whatever y'all need, we have it. Just reach out, just call us. We have various locations. I'm at Newark on Route 40, but there is locations in Wilmington. We have our Frame location on Union Street. We have Brown Boys and Girls Club. Like I said, Jackson Street is no longer here anymore. We have our Newcastle, which is at Rosemont Community Center. We don't have a Middletown location anymore.
Oh wow!
We have our
Did the locations close due to COVID or anything, or is it just something that was happening in the works?
It was something that was happening in the works. They closed about 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay. Wow.
And I think they just relocated to a school site, because we do have school sites locations as well. We have about over 50 school site locations in the state of Delaware, and we have about 13 standalone clubs.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, when you say school site, you mean like you're just set up inside the school permanently to help? Yeah. Wow.
So we have one at Brader Elementary School. We have one at I can't remember the name of it, because I know they shut down one of the schools in Middletown, and I can't think of the name of the school that they closed down recently. But we have school sites all the way down. Olive Be Lost. That's the one right before you get to Middletown. But yes, Olive Be Lost. We have school sites throughout, all the way down to Rehoboth Beach.
Wow.
Oh, that is amazing. Now, it just came to my mind. Remember, Denzel Washington was always promoting the Boys and Girls Club. So, yeah, get the next Denzel out of there.
We actually have alum from that place for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay, right.
DiVincenzo, Dante. I can't say his last name ever. Dante D he's actually Greater Newark alumni.
Wow. Yeah, that is awesome. I am so excited that you came on and talked. Like, my mind is blown, like, truly. I know, right? I had no idea. So my son David used to go to the Boys and Girls Club. Gosh, that was years ago, here and there, but he's participated in some of the programs, which is great. But now I'm just like, whoa, I had no idea about all the leadership. Right? When we get to Orlando, it is like seeking it out, because it's so important to have that sense of community, people there that you can trust, build a relationship. You're learning leadership skills. Right. We need this for adults.
Yeah.
Real
No,
for real.
seriously.
Yeah, for
Both
real.
Boys and Girls Club.
Yeah, I volunteer myself, and there's plenty of other people I can volunteer volunteer to come. But yeah. Go ahead, Izzy. I didn't know if you had
Our
anything
last
else.
major Keystone Conference was a huge state, countrywide conference for our teams. We actually were in Orlando. They hosted it. The kids were able to go for free. We actually fundraised all the money. Some of my teams, that was their first time ever being on an airplane, so it was completely free of charge. Meals were free. The only thing they needed money for is souvenirs. They went to Disney. They went to Magic Kingdom. They stayed at a nice hotel, pool. It was so, and like I said, that was some kids' first time ever on an airplane or outside the state of Delaware. So it was just a good experience. We had about 15 kids go statewide.
Yeah.
It was such
I
love it.
Awesome. It's gotta be an awesome feeling to know that you're contributing all of this into a child's life. And one day, like 10 to 15 years from now, they're going to come back and they're going to remember you. You know what I mean? Like I've even tried to get in contact with my old keyboarding teacher. She used to make me so mad. She'd make me cover up my fingers so that I couldn't see the keys. And I didn't like that. I was like, dude, I just want to let me type. But it helped me. And then after I had finished college, there were jobs that I applied for that required me to type a certain way, like super fast, like 70 words per minute. And I thought about her, and I actually wrote her, and she'd retired and lived somewhere in Ocean City. But they're going to come back to you and they're going to say, thank you for all that you did at that time. I didn't have this, and this, but you were there for me. And that is just, even if it's one person, that is just like the biggest form of gratitude that you can give to the universe. It's amazing. So I thank you. You don't have my child. I will have him on the train to Delaware. You can meet him.
It is true. I was thinking too, Izzy, you guys aren't planting seeds. You're planting like a forest, right? Let's hit the commercial and then we'll come back and see if we have any more comments, and then we will close out.
Awesome. That is one of my favorite A-Game commercials.
You do that commercial. It's something so soothing about it.
I know, right? It makes me want to put lights all over my body and start dancing around and doing all that.
So as we tell them where they can get the A-Game, and the A-Game is for men only.
Yes, it is for men only. And if you need to receive a sample, you want to reach out to Chuck, you can send him a message through Feel Good Talk, and he'll definitely connect with you. I'm sure he has samples available. He says that every week. So make sure you reach out and get your samples.
A few samples available, right?
I know, every week.
A few Firehouse sale. So Firehouse sale. So I put the Boys and Girls Club link there for you guys who are interested. Please jot it down and contact them and find out the programs that are going on. Find out how you can support them. Again, either money, things, time. You see today how just influential that they are in the development of our future leaders. And that is huge. So as much as we can, jump in and support their efforts and their mission. And then also the takeaway of communicating, right? I always like when people, or I should say I hate when people do stuff in the community that they're not doing in their own homes. right? So first start with your own homes instead, in terms of like communication and the things that Sierra talked about, having patience and having empathy and, allowing that safe space and really just sitting and building that relationship with your team, right? So they're open. So that was my takeaway from this all. Izzy, do you have anything? And then we'll have Sierra, you can tell us if there's anything else that we didn't ask you that you would like to communicate out.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I love what you do. And I want to encourage people to go out and support groups like this. I think that we don't have that support system like we did before. And groups like this and organizations like this have this system. They're good at what they do, and they can help your family. And go out, reach out to them and try to find a way that you can give back. Our kids are going to need it. This year was brutal. It was brutal for adults, and it was brutal for kids. It is not something that's just going to go away because we have a vaccine and COVID goes away. These are emotional things that have, developed, and our children need to deal with them. And it's going to take years and years and years for us to work through this. And places like the Boys and Girls Club provide this kind of support. So reach out if you can help. Reach out if you could donate. If you can't donate monetary funds, then find a way to go and volunteer. If you want to drop your kids off, she's got spots. Call her up. And that's it. I love what you do, and keep it what you do. Yeah.
Yes. And so Sierra, is there anything else you want to tell us about that we should be aware of about teens, about the program? Anything? What are your last thoughts?
Just come check us out, see what we have to offer. We're actively enrolling for our Summer Fun Club, which is for our kindergarten through 12 years old. Actively enrolling for that, actively enrolling for our teen camp program. Spots are limited for our teen camp. We're only taking a limited amount of kids this year. Just get out there and check us out, see what we have to offer. Check out our website. I will drop my email as well in the chat, just in case anyone has further questions for me. Feel free to call me, text me, email me. I'm open to it all. I'm open to new ideas. If anybody has an idea about a program they want to do, or they have contacts with programs, I'm here for it, and I'm down.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Miss Milburn says, good show. Thank you for tuning in. We love that you guys come on and comment and ask questions and just to be a part of our Feel Good Talk family. So thank you. If you are looking to reach out to us, we are all across the board. We are everywhere. We're on LinkedIn at Feel Good Talk. We're on Facebook at Feel Good Talk. We're on YouTube at FGT Mind, Body, Soul, and Business. And Instagram, we are at feel.goodtalk. We also have a website, which is www.feelgoodtalk.net. Please reach out to us if you're interested in coming on our podcast. We love to hear from the community. There's something that we can learn and we can share with others in the community. If you're looking to place an ad, please reach out as well. And always like and share our page. I say this every week because the message may not be for you, but it might be for someone else. So, we don't get any personal gain from any of this of sharing. Sharing is so that we can reach out to other people who might need to hear this message. So we appreciate you guys so much. And Sierra, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. It was amazing.
Yes.
Amazing.
And we always have to make our little hearts.
We close out with our hearts. We love you guys. Oh, my heart is
I know. See, I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
I know.
We'll take it.
We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. Support your local Boys and Girls Club. And thank you for watching. See you.
Bye.